Where is Terry? Supposed to be working on that truck. Terry. Oh. Hey, Terry. I thought you were going to work on the truck, man.
Alright, sorry guys.
Having too much fun out here.
Oh yeah. Too much fun. Alright, Steve, Rob, and Thomas. Wife looked all over for this here Wells IPA beer. Could not find it. But what I like to drink is Bud Light Platinum.
Yeah, baby.
My friend at work calls this crack in a bottle. So, you drink a few of these and that'll put you in the mood.
What is that, 6% alcohol?
6%.
Woo!
Anyway, as you remember guys, from the previous video, we had a charging system problem here on this here 94 Ranger. And so now let's go ahead and we're going to just get this here alternator snatched out. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this here box on out of the way, this here air box. We only got one bolt here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that out. First thing I want to do is take this here rubber hose off. All right, let's get him out of the way. And also there's one bolt here holding this here duct assembly in right there, so I'm going to take that out. 10mm head is on that, so that's what I'm going to be working on. Okay guys, here's that bolt. It's more like a sheet metal screw. Just go ahead and want to take this thing out of the way. Next I disconnected battery cable off the DC negative post on the battery. Alright guys, if you take a look at this connector right here, you see there's a little catch there. So there's a little opening in here. So what I'm going to try to do is get this opening, put a small screwdriver in there, and I'm going to wedge this over. And then we're going to try to pull this out. Okay, so now you can see the connector. Basically you need to lift that over that way and then pull it back. Alright, now we're going to be taking this here nut, 10mm. Socket will take care of that. That's going to be for the battery connection. That's going to the back of the alternator. Put the nut back on. Okay, I want to try to separate this here like a little grommet. It's like a little wiring harness here. Alright, so that took care of that. Okay, now we're going to release the tensioner so we can take the belt off of the alternator. I'm using a 1-inch wrench here, putting it on the tensioner. You can also use a 3/8 drive, pull, handle, or ratchet, and you can put it in right up in here. I'm just going to use a wrench, a little bit more easier to access. So we're going to push this down.
Slide him off.
And we're just going to leave the belt. Just leave it right there like that. If for some reason the belt completely comes off for whatever reason, there is a decal on the front of the engine right in front of the radiator here, so you can see it right there. This is just in case yours is all screwed up. Alright, we have 3 bolts, 13mm heads on them. One is right here, and you're going to see the other 2 is down on the bottom. One is there, one is over there. Now these 2 down here, you're going to probably have to use some wrenches on there. If you put a socket, it's going to be hitting up here on the side of the frame rail. So you're going to probably have to use wrenches on the bottom, but you can use a wrench or you can use a ratchet, which is what I'm going to be using. And then on the bottom, I'm going to switch over to wrenches. Ooh. After 22 years of never being loosened, they're pretty snug. Alright guys, I'm going to be taking these bolts out, so I'll catch you in the next shot here. Alright, there's all 3 of the bolts. They're all the same lengths. Okay? Now let's take this thing on out. Lo and behold, we have an alternator. Looking over the alternators here, This is new. This is a brand new alternator. Looks the same to me. Connectors look the same. Same. Yep. Looks the same. Okay. Let's throw it on there.
Okay guys, one quick note for all you helpers out there. It's hard enough handling the right ratchet or the right wrench, but now with the ratcheting wrench, I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do. Oh Lord.
Alright, so I'm gonna put the battery connection on. Stick the little grommet back in there. I'm going to tighten that up 10 millimeter. May leave that off right now. I might want to do another little test. Okay. Make sure your belt stays on the grooves all the way around. That's what I'm looking at right now. Make sure it didn't slip on me. And that looks fine to me. Let's put our air duct assembly back in. Okay. So remember we had a 10 millimeter bolt. Before I put that in, let me find my hose here. Let me go ahead and hook him up. Now we're going to put a bolt back in here. Sorry guys if you can't see this. Make sure your vacuum hose here, make sure it's okay. It's not going to get pinched up under the platform or the support that this is going to be mounted on. There's two little pegs right over here on this side. You see right here, they'll just go into these rubber grommets right here. So we're going to just take them and it should just go right on in like so. Okay. All right, that looks good to me. Then we're going to come back and I'm going to tighten this here bolt up right here. Okay guys, alright, I just got through with that bolt right there for the bottom of this here air box. That was an 8 millimeter socket I was using. Alright, I believe that looks good, that looks good. Okay. Good. So there's my two connectors, one for the IAT sensor, this one here is for the math. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this here exhaust tube. I'm going to put that on right there next. Alright. So we got two hose clamps, guys, so I'm just going to be tightening them up. One here and one's up here. Okay, guys, two hose clamps. They're tightened up on the exhaust hose here. Went ahead and got a new air filter. It was a little bit dirty, the previous one. Okay. find these here tangs in the notches back there. Okay. Looks good. Make sure my hoses, my connectors are gonna still be okay. Okay, so I got my harness out here and pulled out the front. That looks like that's gonna work there. That's gonna work down here on the IAT sensor. So that looks good. Okay. All right, so now we got these here 2 bolts right here, one there, one back over here. So I'm gonna be snugging those up here. Let's get these here 2 screws secured. Top of the air box housing to the bottom of the housing. This one. That's number 2. Take care of the IAT sensor. And let's try him like this right here. Yeah. I believe that's how he was. Come on. Get on there. Okay. All right, the last thing I think we need to do is we're going to hook up the battery cable. We're going to hook that up to the negative post on the battery. All right, guys, I guess this is the moment of truth of where we crank this thing up, and now we're going to repeat our tests, see if we got any charging voltage over here on the battery. So let's crank it up. Let's see what we got. We got 14.5 volts now. So we are getting a charge now to the battery. Okay. Now we can see that the charging current for the battery is about 5-6 amps. So that's looking good right there too. So the battery is a little bit low, so as this here battery gets charged up, this here current will come down. One of these things here, if you're checking your charging current on the battery, you should not be up there around 15 or 20 amps. This current should be coming down. If not, then you've got a bad battery. Okay? So that looks good. If you notice, I'm around both leads of the DC negative cable. What will happen is one of the cables is coming up here for the charge current for the battery. The other current is going out to the load for the engine. You know, the ignition coils, injectors, lights, and whatever. So these two currents are actually going in different directions. So what will happen is the two currents will actually subtract. So what I'm looking at right now is the current that's going actually to the battery right now. Okay, so that's all looking pretty good. Okay guys, one other final check is that you can speed the engine up to about 2,000, maybe 2,500. Turn on a load on the charging system. Right now I have the headlights turned on and I have the blower turned on high. And this is going to have the generator to put out more current. Now while you're under this condition, you should not see your battery voltage dropping down under the system voltage like 12.6. Right now you can see I'm still at 14.5 volts. So we're still looking pretty good, so everything is fine. Okay, if you remember, I pulled that rubber grommet off of the battery connection on the back of the alternator. And I was going to do some tests, you know, to show you guys about voltage drop testing and all that stuff, but then this video will just get longer and longer, so maybe that would be probably better suited for a separate video. But by the way, I did put the rubber grommet back in place, so that's all taken care of. Alright guys, now I mentioned in the previous video that, you know, there's more tests that we could do to isolate what exactly was the exact problem with this here alternator. Now, you know, that goes in a lot more detail. You got to know more about the circuits and how does it work. And, you know, if you want to see that, we can go into that a little bit. But for, you know, most of the time, you're going to replace the alternator. And it's like I said before, it's like, well, do you really care what's going on? But I'm sure there's a few of you said, hey, why didn't you check the brushes? Why didn't you check the voltage regulator? Why didn't you check? Why, right? And then you're going to be spending up probably about the same amount of money for a voltage regulator, say about 50 bucks. This here brand new alternator, $65. I'm going to put it together. It's not worth it. But if you guys want to see some of that and how this alternator works and what goes on in the circuitry, the bridge diodes and voltage regulator, whatnot, let me know. Alright guys, now that we have this here vehicle all fixed and it's done, it's ready, that means there's only one thing left. And you should always do this on the repair. Doesn't matter what it is.
Huh?
And you know what that is?
What's that?
Happy dance! Alright.
Alright, I think we've got enough of that. Bye, Terry.
Alright. Appreciate you watching, guys. Always end up with a happy mood when you get finished working on something. And you guys take care.